Welcome back to the Quarter Voice Podcast. My name is Tucker Brackey.
I'm Logan Steins.
Jack Rankin.
And I'm Bryson Muir.
Today we'll be talking about the friendship of Elwood and Turner in the story in the book The Nickel Boys. And we're going to go into their experiences and how they met. And we're going to go into how their friendship evolved and changed over time despite the injustices and racism throughout the story. So for our first question, I'm going to ask everyone else, how does Elwood and Turner's relationship and situation relate to other sources of literature? So for that question, we found two poems. The first one being If We Must Die by Claude McKay, and the second one being Caged Bird by Maya Angelou.
So with those two sources, they relate to their situation because in the first poem, when it says, if we must die, oh, let us nobly die, the fact that it says us is referring to multiple people, and it kind of shows that they are in a ride or die kind of relationship, and that is something that Turner and Elwood are in. They fight for each other, and they really feel for each other, and they really think for each other, and that's something that's cool. And then for the second source, what do you guys think about that?
Source that relates to our topic and discussion would be Caged Bird by Maya Angelou, as I mentioned earlier. And the line I found best suits our topic is the caged bird sings, because it's very similar to Elwood's situation, because he is in a cage, Nickel Academy, and he's trying to do his time and get out, even though he wasn't supposed to be there. He didn't do anything wrong, so the system is already not going for him.
Yeah.
Similar to where the bird is singing, despite being in a cage, Elwood is still being a good person, despite being in Nickel Academy and surrounded by injustice and racism.
Makes sense.
Besides those topics and questions, does the group have any others to bring to the table?
How do Elwood and Turner's views differ from when they first met at the start of the story?
Yeah, I found that Elwood believes in the law and is inspired by Martin Luther King Jr. He believes that right is right and wrong is wrong, and that doing the proper thing in life will eventually benefit you. And Turner believes that the system isn't really for him, and he's willing to just do whatever it takes to survive the racist society that he's found himself in.
I'm going to add to that. When Elwood is arrested wrongfully, even though he didn't do anything, his grandmother hired a lawyer, and he thought everything would be fine, I'll get out of Nickel soon, and then later in the story, the lawyer's gone, he ran with the money. The system is not always in his favor, and I think that's where he learns that.
Speaking of Elwood and Turner, what's the significance of Turner consuming the soap to go see Elwood in the infirmary?
So I think that him actually eating soap to get sick to go see him just showed how locked in they were and how close of friends they were, because I know for my closest friends, I'd maybe do that for two people, and he did it in a heartbeat to go see him and talk to him and make sure that they were so close.
So I'll add on to that. I think that since he did eat the soap, their relationship obviously got stronger, as you said, but it also shows that despite the injustice and the oppression and all the stuff that went wrong with them in this academy, this was after Elwood got beat for doing little to nothing wrong, if that. And it just shows the bond they have, and how even though the hard circumstances, it's still, it shows the growth and it shows the potential.
Jack, I heard you mention that Elwood got beat up, so I was wondering what other traumatic events did they experience?
Well, one of them that they experienced was when Elwood, he got beat up for trying to do the right thing. He saw some kids getting bullied in a bathroom, and he stepped up, but everybody got punished, even though Elwood was doing the right thing, which just kind of goes to show how twisted and how wrong things were and how traumatic that experience was for him.
Yeah, and they also were forced to do hard manual labor, which also contributed to the uncertainty and the constant risk of being beaten and becoming fearful of the white faculty workers, where he's constantly at risk.
Yeah, actually, what both of you said, I don't know if you said it specifically, but he got beat by the workers. They beat him for helping stopping a fight, which clearly he's not in the wrong for.
Another question that my group thought of was, does the tough situation Elwood and Turner are in cause their friendship to have a stronger bond?
I think so.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. For me, I think that their shared trauma has definitely caused them to bond on like an emotional and social level to the point where they're almost kind of considering each other brothers, pretty much.
Yeah, they've just been through so much together, like how you are with like your closest family and friends. Like once you go through the thick and thin, it's just like your brother for the rest of your life.
I agree. I think it's also very hard for people in Nickel Academy to trust each other, given their situation and how many opportunities there are to just bide your time and stay by yourself and try to get out. But having a friend like Elwood and Turner do could just give you the upper hand and make it a lot more enjoyable experience if you can enjoy it.
Yeah.
The situation.
Yeah, and I mean, their like bond and the way that they flourish comes to play later in the story. Like especially when Elwood is not able to deliver the notebook that contains all the things that's happened to him and all the bad things that Nickel Academy has made him done to the reporters that are coming to the Nickel Academy. He ends up giving it to Turner, and he entrusts Turner with that notebook so that Turner can pass that notebook on to the reporters, and hopefully that the Nickel Academy can get exposed for its crimes against humanity.
Yeah, they need to get exposed.
How does the kid's experience accurately display the emotions towards African Americans in that time period?
I mean, I would say that it pretty accurately reflects the emotions towards African Americans in that time. There's multiple instances of Elwood and Turner being racially discriminated against, and that pretty much goes for just how it was at that time. There was a lot of prejudice between white people and African Americans, and that's just...
Yeah, I'd say it's amplified, if anything, in the Nickel Academy, since there's no laws, there's no regulations. Like, they're just senselessly beating children over little to nothing.
Yeah, so they put
So, like,
a little fiction spin on it, but based in reality, for sure.
Podcast is, does anyone have any similar experiences here to Elwood while he's sick or anything they're going through?
Yeah, I do. So back when COVID first started and like everybody didn't really know like what was going on and like if you had COVID, like everybody was freaking out about it. I actually got COVID, and this was when I still lived in Virginia Beach, and like I was completely isolated from everybody. Like I wasn't in the hospital, but I was like in this like I don't even know what it was, like an infirmary type of thing. Like I was like sectored off, and there wasn't a lot of people that came and visited me, like my very close like family members. But my friend Ivan, he was my best friend at the time. He came and visited me like every single day. Like no matter what we had to wear, like masks, like anything that we had to do, like he was there every day that he could be, and I was just so grateful for that.
So you say, despite all these harsh conditions, all this craziness,
Yeah,
your friend came through for you and it helped you
yeah. Everything that was going
persevere
on,
and push
just-
through?
Yeah, everything.
Similar
that
to
was
how
going on.
Elwood and Turner had those harsh conditions, obviously really bad, and their friendship is what got them through it, despite the ending.
Yeah, that's
That's-
exactly.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's awe-inspiring.
And
Shout
I
out
just
to Ivan.
I just thank God for me being able to be here today. Okay, so another question my group had was, do you guys think that Elwood and Turner's friendship would have survived or lasted outside of the Nickel Academy?
Honestly, I'm gonna say no. They both have kind of similar ideals, but they're also kind of different in some ways. And I personally just don't believe that their friendship would have lasted outside of Nickel Boys. I don't think they would have hated each other, but I just don't think they would have been under the circumstances to form such a close bond if they hadn't been subject to the Nickel Academy.
Yeah,
So
I'm actually gonna add on to that. I don't mean to cut you off, Jack, but I think out in the real world, like crazy situations that they were put into aren't gonna happen as often, and these situations that they were put into in the Nickel Academy just strengthened their bond, and like all these like horrible things that they had to go through together just made them closer as friends. And out in the real world, that wouldn't have happened. So I think they would have just grown further and further apart by distance and just going and starting their own life.
I'm gonna add on to that.
Splendid.
I'm gonna say I don't think either that their relationship would have lasted or survived or anything, because one, Elwood had a job. He was about to take college classes, high advanced like math, all that type of stuff. He was really good in high school. He had a good relationship with his teacher. He had all these good things going for him. And I'm not sure Turner is that type or that type of person to take college classes and be hanging around those kids.
Yeah, no.
So I'm not sure it would have thrived. Well, Nickel Academy caused him to have lots of, as you said, interesting
Hardships.
situations that really just grow them together and helps them so they can really help each other out.
All right, so that's actually going to be the end of our segment for today. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you for tuning in and listening to what we had to say on this amazing book. My name is Tucker Brackey,
Logan Signs.
I'm Jack.
Bryson.
and just thank you so much for tuning in. And once again, we are the Quarter Boys!
I didn't even say it. I literally
It's good
didn't say
enough,
it.
bro. It's good enough.
I was gonna say Nickel Boys.
Hey, bro.
So you should say,
His